Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special bonus episode of Irrational Passions Podcast. I'm Alex O'Neill, and joining me is my wonderful co-host, Brian Nabeshin Jackson.
Embrace your dreams.
Embrace the dreams, dude. We're here for a very specific reason, and that is that months ago, we made a bet. I don't even remember what it was originally about. Doom. Oh, yeah. Would Doom 2016 be Giant Bomb's 2016 Game of the Year? I said no. You said yes. It was Hitman, surprising all of us. To be fair, Doom was number 2, right? So
number 2. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very close. I didn't expect it to be Hitman. I just thought that
there'd be something else.
Yeah, I thought there wouldn't be as much support for Doom as there was. But the reason Doom wasn't Game of the Year, I think, is still silly. Honestly, I thought it should have been. So I was on your side. The conditions of the bet was, if I was right, you had to play and finish Final Fantasy VII before the next major Japanese release of Square Enix. And if you won the bet, I had to play and finish Red Dead Redemption before Red Dead Redemption 2 came out.
Weirdly, how it's almost like if the future or the past had changed, it would have been around the same time. So
yeah,
it's weird.
Exactly. So it worked out. I mean, they're kind of in close. You end up streaming Final Fantasy VII, or are you just playing on your own?
I streamed it's so funny too because I streamed the entire thing. That was part of the bet. I streamed the entire thing, and then I got to where I fought Sephiroth, and I kind of got upset because it's just the way how that fight went about, and it's I couldn't get it the way I wanted to, and I think it turned to I think Tifa turned into a toad, and she was the only one who I had that I can actually heal my party other than with my items, and then that thing was just everything just fell apart at the end. And then when I died, my last save point was before I bought Genova, so it's well, fuck this. So I turned it off, and then I was well, how much time do I have left? I have less than an hour. Okay, well, I might as well keep going. I just didn't stream that last part, but everything else I streamed.
That's fine though. You got there. You got to this weird man ship at the end. But I know we briefly exchanged how you did not like having to rush through the game because you were essentially trying to get it in just before Dragon Quest XI came out. And you finished the game at 11:47 Monday night, so technically 13 minutes before Dragon Quest XI came out, which I thought which is amazing.
Ridiculous.
Honestly, the stakes, because essentially if you didn't do that, we were going to make you wear a Cloud Strife wig. And be on camera for a full 4 weeks on IP.
And play League of Legends.
I guess you were going to do both. But it's funny because while I was at PAX West, I saw a Cloud wig. I'm that's the one he's going to wear. And I had it picked out. I didn't think there was any way you could do it, but you fucking crushed it. And you did talk about how you didn't really like having to rush through the game.
Well, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because it's there's almost no way that I would have ever gotten this far in this game by myself if I hadn't been forced to do it. And at the same time, it took a while before the game clicked with me and I really started enjoying it. But it was in that around when I started enjoying it, it's oh wow, I can't really dick around in this game. Also, everything was very hard to actually find. Yeah. It got to the point where it's okay, God, what was it? I guess we're gonna talk random stuff right now, but what was it? I think it was right after I got my high wing. Yeah, it was after I got my high wing with Cloud. When Cloud came back and I got my high wing, that I found Yuffie's village. And I was oh, okay, I could probably do that. And then I couldn't find Yuffie. And I ran around a good amount in that area, and I couldn't find her anywhere. And I was man, I just don't have time for this. So I had to completely leave that area and just go off to do other stuff. So
so you never got to see any Yuffie stuff in the game?
No, I reloaded the save after I beat the game, and I went back there and she has to be somewhere. And then I found her father, and then I talked to her father for a good minute, and then she disappeared again, and now I didn't know where she was again. So I was well, I guess I'll just stop here. So that's where I stopped.
Yeah. It's and we'll get into this. My hope is to help kind of fill in some gaps for you, stuff that you might have missed here, so that way you don't necessarily have to go back and play the whole game again. But so at the end of the day, so here I can ask you this question. I'm very excited. Now you've played to completion 2 Final Fantasy games, and I can ask you, what is your favorite Final Fantasy game?
It would definitely be 7, and I would say 7 because
it's a whole game.
Well, in some ways it isn't, because of like my whole thing, God, like when I think about like what I came into it, like the way I felt about that game, and like the knowledge that I had about it, all the osmosis, all the crisis core, all the somewhat Advent Children, which I don't remember anything about that movie, and I think I'm probably going to avoid like the plague now, more or less. I'll see it eventually. See it again eventually. I've seen it before. It was like I don't know, like, because like, you know, I was expecting to see Zack this entire time I played this game, like in a more significant role that he was, you know, because like everybody knows I have this biggest man crush on Zack Flair from from Crisis Core, and like I expected to see more of him, like in some way, shape, or form, because like you know, like Cloud was still in a lot of mannerisms from him, but like it wasn't exactly the same. And like, oh god, like there's so much I want to talk about, because there's so many different facets.
That's what we're here for, man.
I just want to say, but the long and short of your original question is like, I think the main reason I like 7 more than like 15, even though I like 15 more as a gameplay wise, like like I love 15 as far as that, and it's so much better. But like, I think 7 just had more just emotion for me, more emotion with it, and like, I'm a sucker for like love and romance and stuff like that, and like whether I was someone rooted for Aerith or whether I was someone rooted for Tifa, like I thought I got both of those, and like they both made sense for whatever aspect you wanted to go with it. So like I just loved all of that, and like all the characters were great. Some more than others. Like I wanted more with Vincent, especially as he got his own damn game, and like I thought I would get more of him. Maybe I just completely missed that, and like I didn't. But like
there is more that is very easy to miss. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you Vincent's story. Don't worry.
Okay, but like someone like Sid, like he's that was an amazing.
Sid's so good, right?
He's like literally the best character in that game. That's not like one of the main ones. The main quote main characters, but like Sid is amazing in that game. Like when you first
he's so funny.
Yeah, when you first meet him, from the moment you meet him to like pretty much all his stuff at when he went into space, and then like just like I would have never imagined Sid being that amazing of a character.
It's that moment where he talks about like where his wife is like ready to fucking throw down her life to get him into space, where you kind of start to realize how important this is to him.
That's his wife?
Like, his not wife.
Okay.
His like
Shira.
Weird, yeah, his weird open relationship girlfriend / wife. But it's like you really feel for Sid, and like you kind of he sucks in a lot of ways. And I think, like, keep in mind, like, a lot of, like, him hitting whatever, I forget her name, is, like, more of, like, them just trying to emote those characters in, like, their limited graphic style. I didn't necessarily take it as him beating his wife or whatever.
Right.
But, like, that relationship is so interesting because he basically gave up on his dream to save her life, and she was willing to give up on her life to save his dream. And like that's their relationship, but in the end they both got to space, and like that's such a fucking moment.
Yeah, and like she didn't necessarily have to be there. I mean like as far as like, because no one knew she was even there until like they were already in space, so it was like, oh wow, she was going to just be there just to be there. And I guess she used the escape by herself later on, but like still the fact that she was even there was crazy.
Yeah. So, because I know you have a lot you want to talk about, but I want to kind of direct it, so that way we're not all over the map. I'm very excited that you played this. Here's my thing. So, like, I understand where you're coming from with Zach, and obviously Zach got his own game, but like the reason I'm not as super into Zach is because like this was my first game, right? Where like he's a very very, very small part of this story.
Very much.
But I do like that. I like Zach's story. I think like his relationship with Angeal, and it's kind of like Angeal passing down to Zach, passing down to Cloud, and then Cloud is the one that stops Sephiroth. Where like originally that relationship of kind of camaraderie meets rivalry was Angeal and Sephiroth, and like that passed down 2 generations, and finally Cloud was the one that killed Sephiroth, and he was kind of like the greatest of them all. And like you go through quite a journey for Cloud to really figure out who he is, which I really like, both figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
And I really connected with Cloud as a character. I love him so dearly, and like it's so funny because I'm sure you remember, because you did this all in such a tight amount of time, but like Cloud being kind of very short and dickish at the beginning of the game is like not who he is, and how he changes throughout that game is so cool.
It's like it's so interesting because it's like because like replaying this game reminded me like me playing Crisis Core, and like me seeing Cloud in that game for the first time. I'm like this is Cloud. Like he is not this person that like I imagine or in / seen in something like Advent Children or Kingdom Hearts or something like that. He's just like he was always just like this brooding, dickish, like stereotypical, I guess you could say, character. Just like the lone soldier, just like, oh, leave me alone, like I'm brooding type of thing, or at least that's how he's always been portrayed. And like when I saw him Crisis Core, I saw him, he was like lively and like he smiled and like had general emotion. I'm like, wow, like I never knew this about him, and I literally forgotten all about that. All these years afterwards, and like because like when you see the Final Fantasy trailer again, you see the dickishness, but that's the beginning of the game, Cloud. And like re-experiencing that again, seeing Cloud as an actual person, a person who like who cares about people and like emotes and like he has real issues, and like Cloud's an amazing character. Like I really enjoyed that, and like it's something
that warms my heart so much hearing you say that,
because it's like when I think when Cloud, even now when Cloud's talked about, it's like he's remembered for the way Square Enix has made him into like in the most recent years is just like this brooding character, and I'm like he's so much more than that, and like they're not giving him enough credit because of that. Like even in, like I said, in Kingdom Hearts, he's pretty much just like just not someone that I can really connect with, but like he like someone even like in Smash, like I would expect him to smile. Like he doesn't smile in Smash, so like it's like one of those type of things that I just think about now.
It's everyone takes him kind of like out of the beginning of that game, I think, and not like at the end where he's like surrounded by these people he cares about, and he has like this support structure in place.
Actually caring about people, that's the thing too, because it's not like it's just Tifa because like we're childhood friends and like it's nothing else, but like by the end of that game he cares about everybody, and
he's
like
fucking ride or die.
Yeah, exactly.
So you texted me and said that you were realizing how much you didn't know about this game. I'm trying to remember the point in which you texted me that. Do you remember when you were playing it, what that was?
Like not off the top of my head. I have to actually look that up. But like,
it was Sunday at 2:58 a.m. Wow, I'm just shocked by how much I didn't know about this game after all these years getting the osmosis from others. That was just before you said Highwind. Maybe that was just Sid in general.
No, I think it was more of maybe it's more about like because this was after Aerith has died, right?
Yeah, it was a little bit after that.
All right, so we were in Disc 2, and I'm just trying to remember where I was at.
Disc 2 is like you start in the snowy area, you go up the mountain, and then you meet actual Sephiroth.
Right.
We'll get I got tons of questions about that.
Yeah.
We can go there if you want. How did you feel about like Jenova as the villain?
You know what? I just like as soon as you said Jenova, like it popped in my head, like what I thought about.
Go ahead.
Because you just said Jenova was the villain, and it was like Rufus.
Like real Sephiroth is the villain in the end, but yeah.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about like Rufus is like this whole side antagonist thing that like he's in this entire game, but like I never even knew about him. No one ever talks about him, and that was
he's in Advent Children too.
Is he really? Did he survive?
Yeah, dude, he's got a huge part in Advent Children.
Did he survive?
Yeah, he does.
Okay. Oh, well, weird.
He's severely injured, let's say. But yes.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about that movie. But yeah, like I think that whole side thing, like, because I always thought it was like, because it's the fact that like Rufus is like this main antagonist, or not the main antagonist, but like he's an antagonist, like he pretty much through the entire game, and how Sephiroth is pretty much not in that game really at all until like the very end, and like I even texted you before, like it didn't even seem like Sephiroth was even real. Like in most of the parts of that game, because it's always a scene where Cloud's like holding his head, and it's like you hear like the noise, and then you see Sephiroth and like portrayed himself, but like it's so weird like how he's just like portrayed in those scenes where it's because like he just like pretty much just Superman's in and out everywhere he goes, and then it's like Cloud says something, and then like someone says something, it's like
he's also walking through walls and stuff like that.
Yeah. But like Cloud would say something, and then like everyone would be reacting to Cloud. They don't react to Sephiroth. So it's like is Sephiroth not even like a real thing until like he exists somewhere, but like this is all in Cloud's head that we're seeing right now. It's just like him every time Sephiroth appears and stuff like that, and like no one else acknowledging it. Because like there was I think the scene in the pyramid was like
yes,
was like that's the main point of that, because it was like. Because I had Aerith and Sid with me, and like Cloud was like reacting and actually talking to Sephiroth, and then like when Sephiroth leaves, it's like they don't acknowledge that Sephiroth was there at all, except Cloud does, obviously. But like that just like was like a weird thing.
He wasn't there then.
Okay.
Is the like except at the very end, but a lot of like it goes back and forth because like a lot of it is the Jenova cells that Sephiroth is controlling in Cloud, which is again like probably a whole part of this game that you had no idea was a thing. I guess you would have gotten a little bit from Crisis Core,
and I somewhat remember that part of it in Adventure, but I didn't. But I didn't like understand obviously at the time, but like going through the game and realizing that like because like God, they keep switching stuff up, because it was like they said like he was a clone of Sephiroth. I'm like, did he die? And like when did that happen? And it was like, no, it was like the Jenova cells injected to him, and that pretty much made him like a Sephiroth type of thing. So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. It just took a while for me to understand that.
So to relate this, it's because it's kind of tied into this. Basically, because Cloud was never like the top ranking soldier, so he never got injected with Jenova cells until he was stabbed by Sephiroth in the reactor. How did you feel about like when you actually piece together that scene and see it? That moment when you're with Tifa and you go in the live stream with Cloud.
For that scene?
Yeah, where you're like going through Cloud's memories and seeing who the real him was.
Well, like like I was texting you before, because like I'm a weirdo who played Crisis Core more before I played Final Fantasy VII. So like all those things I remembered was Zach, and like I just texted you, is like
what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, exactly. Like where is Zach? No, it was more like
it was really funny for me, honestly. I was like, I mean, I can't tell you because it's the whole plot of the game, but like this is great.
Yeah, it was like well, like going into it like the way I did is just like oh wow, like is this like retconned, or like in a weird way, like did Crisis Core retcon this? Is it like they just wanted to add more to the story, so they just like made up this whole separate thing? That's what I thought it was going to be at first, and like it's just like I couldn't find.
And then you remember Tetsuya Nomura was involved in this project, and you're like, no, we have to go deeper. Like, yeah, I love that because you get Cloud's story in Calm when he's like reciting it to the team, and then you get to the mountain, and Cloud finally confronts Sephiroth, who's Jenova, which we don't quite know yet. And Sephiroth says, "No, you're wrong. This is what happened." And Tifa knows the truth, and she's freaking out because she doesn't know how Cloud's going to react to seeing the truth.
Right.
And she's gone with the lie for so long that it's kind of implied that maybe she doesn't know what to believe herself anymore. But she's like, that scene where Tifa's like breaking down, crying, like begging Cloud not to pay attention. He's like, no, it's just a lie. It's fine. Like, it doesn't matter. And then like the kind of truth sets in, and he's like, I'm nothing. Like, I don't even exist. He doesn't know what he is anymore. Like that is like the mid-game twist of Final Fantasy VII, more so than Aerith dying. And it's fucking incredible, in my opinion.
It is really good. And like, I had something, I lost it, but like, oh yeah, like even Cloud, like believing in his own lie, like, to an extent, like him believing that he's this person. Like he even said it himself, like, when he realized, like his old origins and stuff like that. It's like, wow, like I pretty much remembered who Zack was, and like I just pretty much made that persona into myself, and like and it's like, I guess he was portraying who he thought Zack was, because like, Zack was not that
It's not a dick, not brutish.
Yeah. But like, God, like Cloud is so cool. And, like,
yes, dude. Yes.
It's so weird. It's like this whole realization has just been messing with me like the last few days. It's like realizing how much I actually do like this character more than I ever thought I would.
Right? That's the thing. Like, there's layers to it. They fucking peel it back as you go along, and you're like so on that journey with him. Like, so like that whole climax changes. You see where Sephiroth has been this whole time. Actually, how did you feel about Sephiroth like being not real? Like, basically you're chasing Jenova, who Sephiroth is in control of.
I guess I didn't really pick that up like exactly.
Yeah,
I knew like Sephiroth was like I said, like the whole like weird dream state with him and stuff like that. And, like, because like those are always like this weird as how it just like happens, how they present it, and then like in the way this game's presented too, it's like like it's hard for me like to tell if it's like it's like the artistic way of what they want to show, or it's like limitations type of thing of what they're trying to like present to me. So like, So
basically, to give you an overview, Sephiroth, when in the reactor core, is where Jenova in north of Nibelheim in the mountains is where Jenova originally was, and they were using Jenova's cells to create those like failed soldiers, those monsters that were falling out of those pods.
Yeah, that's why the black cloaked guys.
So I assume some of them were probably black cloak guys, but like all we see is like that one CG cutscene of the monster like falling out of the pod, and it's like horrific. And Zack's like, "What the fuck's going on here?" And Sephiroth is also, he's overreacting because he was told as a child that Jenova was his mother, and he's seen the Jenova cells being used to create these things, and he doesn't quite understand. And that's what causes Sephiroth's nervous breakdown and then his transformation into who he is. So Sephiroth at that point cuts off Jenova's head and tries to leave with it. That's when we know like what really happened. Cloud tries to stop him, hits him with Zack's sword, and Sephiroth like stabs him. And Cloud tries to stop him again. Sephiroth stabs him through the heart. Cloud like turns the blade on him and throws him into the life stream with Jenova's head. And the two of them fuse together. And they're taken to the north of the life stream, into the crater where Jenova originally fell to the planet. So I assume there's some part of Jenova that might still be there as well. That crater is where Jenova impacted the planet on a meteor.
Because they said that like Sephiroth died that day, and like I just didn't understand like in what way. So like I guess I understand that now. So
to Sephiroth, he didn't quite die because, as we learned later, when Tifa and Cloud fall in the live stream, you don't necessarily. It's not guaranteed that you die when you enter the live stream, but most people die when they enter the live stream.
Right.
And it speaks to like Cloud and Tifa's connection that they survived. Sephiroth was hibernating essentially for years and years and years, And then I don't know exactly what sets him off, what activates him, but when he wakes up or starts to wake up, the Genova body in the Shinra building wakes up. And that body transforms because Genova cells imitate them like themselves. All of the head Genova cells are now Sephiroth. They've become part of him. So that body transforms into Sephiroth. And so that Sephiroth is the one that you're chasing throughout the game. It's Genova's body, but it's Sephiroth's will and appearance. As you catch up to that part, Genova cuts off parts of her body, and they turn into the monsters that you fight.
Throughout the game. Okay.
Yeah, throughout the game. But so Genova Sephiroth is the one that kills Aerith. Again, it's still Sephiroth. He's in complete control of this creature, but it's just not his actual physical body, which you don't fight until the very, very, very end of the game when Cloud fights one-on-one with him. And that's real. That's the actual Sephiroth in the live stream. Cloud goes into the live stream, fights Sephiroth, kills Sephiroth, and leaves the live stream.
That scene, by the way, like I can see
cool, right?
I can see why like the third disc was just pretty much just like the last dungeon in that scene, because like the quality, like for a PlayStation 1 game, that those graphics, like I said, when they initially sold me, when the game initially showed off itself and like what it was supposed to be, it looked like that to me, or at least in my mind, like how the characters look and like how I thought like the world will look in that game, and like I didn't get that, and that's why I avoided it for so long. But like yeah, dude, like that part was amazing. This visually, even for a PlayStation 1 game, like that those graphics look amazing.
Yeah. So basically, when you get to the crater is when when that opens up, that's when you switch to disc 3. I don't know if the PS4 version makes you switch discs.
Well, not switch discs, but they make you save, and you could tell when it's this disc switch.
Yeah, it's Aerith's death, and then that. Yeah, it's like it makes somewhat sense. It's just like the stuff about Genova cells. So the thing that you missed, after Cloud gets his memory back, if you go to the Shinra mansion and go to the basement where the tubes are, you find out that the Shinra employees took Cloud and Zack there after the Sephiroth massacre, and they experimented on Cloud there and took Genova cells and implanted them in Cloud and Zack. That's where Cloud's memory cells started to replicate Zack's.
Okay.
And eventually, Zack writes on one of the tubes like a message to Cloud to tell him when to break out. They break out of the tubes. They break out of the mansion, and Zack's like, "I'm fucking done with this. You're like my only friend. We're leaving." And it's basically that tube heals them because they're being exposed to Genova cells as well. That's when Cloud is exposed to Genova cells. Then the whole scene happens where they hitchhike on a car. Cloud is basically a vegetable. Because he's like, it's a risk whether or not someone can survive from Genova cell implants. And Zack's like, "We're gonna do it. It's gonna be fine, man. Like, you're going to get better, and we're going to go to Midgar, and we're going to live out our dreams, and we're going to be fine."
Aren't all soldiers injected with Genova cells?
I think all soldiers are, but, like, I also think it's possible that only, like, the high-rank soldiers are actually injected with Genova cells.
Yeah, and Zack was high-rank, right?
Zack is he's like I forget how they rank it. It's like rank A or rank S or whatever.
I think he says first class.
First class, yeah. And Cloud was like third class.
Mm-hmm.
So Zack was definitely exposed to Genova cells.
Okay.
Cloud, I think, was just exposed to Mako.
Okay.
Because soldiers are also exposed to that.
Okay, that makes more sense.
No, it's complicated. So, but that's the scene where they're hitchhiking on the truck, and then Soldier catches up to them, and Zack dies, and it's him handing his sword to Cloud, and just telling him to live for both of them, and then it cuts to Cloud like drearily walking into Midgar, and then Tifa finding him outside the train station, and he like kind of comes back together, and Tifa just goes with the lie. At that point, saying like, "Yeah, you were soldier first class. Yeah, this is all true, and I'm just glad that you're back, that you're safe." because she hadn't seen him since Nibelheim.
Mm-hmm.
She thought he was dead. But yeah, so that's like a whole extra scene that you get by going there. I'm trying to think. So how did you feel about Tifa and Cloud falling in the live stream? We never quite got there, but like the whole scene where you're going through Cloud's memories and figuring out what's real and what's not.
Yeah, that was great. That was an awesome scene. Like it's pretty much gave me the same feelings I had when Aerith died, where it's like just like all these emotions and like and all this like general love between like these two characters with each other, or like the feelings of love with one another. Like it just felt so genuine, and like it's like really like something it's like one of the things, because like no one talks about that scene in particular, which is like
I talk about it when I can, but yeah, it's one of my favorite scenes in that game.
Yeah, it's like I feel like it's just is as much as it's up there as Aerith's death, as far as like a great scene in that game, where it's like with two characters, is like I think it's up there with that.
I agree, and I think like there are so many amazing moments between characters. The thing we're gonna go way back to disc 1 here. I want to know, because like I told you going into this that there are kind of like loyalty-esque missions for each character. And you do definitely get that. You get a lot for Barrett. I think Barrett gets like multiple. As you see, is Red 13 in Cosmo Canyon. When you learn how he hated his father,
right?
And then you find out what actually happened. How did you feel about how that went down?
I thought it was really good. Like just get more depth into like Red 13's character, and like his name is Nanaki. You know, like his devotion to his grandfather, which is like I don't understand like the whole like I
don't know what Bokenhagen is, but he's fucking good.
Yeah, like I'm just not sure like is Red 13 like well no, his dad's pretty much the same thing as him, but like
yeah.
I was about to say
he's the last of his kind.
Okay.
But his mother and father were like lions like him.
Okay. Oh, he has children at the end of the game.
Yeah, so it's assumed that there's maybe a female Red 13 out there, but
I mean, it was 500 years later, so I guess he found one. Like I don't know why. Like that was a weird jump. I'm like, okay, 500 years, sure. That's some Resurre's rap stuff, but okay.
Yeah, it's good shit. Yeah, like that's just the first one you see. And, like, just that moment where, like, it's really powerful for me when Red 13 sees his father, like, died protecting his village, and then he, like, howls at the moon, and his father, his corpse drops to the tear. It's like, man, like, again, doing what they had with, you know, the technology they had, I thought it was really good. I do want to know that scene, like, so you get to the Golden Saucer, were you expecting where everything would go with Barrett?
You mean the scene where he went into his village, or what are we talking?
Yeah, when he went down to the coal mining town.
Yeah, like that scene was like it seemed like too much of a thing where it was just like I don't want to say like I don't know, it's hard to put into words, but like it seems more like it seemed like something that had just happened and just got like this statement, they fed me a bunch of information like really fast, and then it just passed by it. Like I don't know, like as far as like a loyalty mission, as far as like something that let it breathe, like that's what it is. I don't think they let that whole thing with Barrett breathe enough. As far as like, cause like it seemed like it went too quick. Like not to really put a time on it, like maybe it was like 20 minutes. As far as like, whereas like Red 13 felt like more of an hour, or at least how it felt. Like I didn't feel like we had enough of that, or maybe not enough context to it, I guess, because like, you know, like Barrett, like he was in the village, and then like he had a wife, and then like he had a best friend, and then like Shira like destroyed that village, and then like so his wife died, and like him and his friend ran away, like then like his friend fell off fell off a cliff, but like he grabbed his hand and like they shot his hand. That's how he has a machine gun hand, and like I get felt like I said, I felt like they just rushed through all that, and like there wasn't like enough like nothing to really for me to grasp on too much. Other than like Barrett is a great dad, and that's it.
Yeah, it is like that one long flashback when they get in the house and whatnot. I like it because like that it's kind of like, again, there's a lot of like horror moments in Final Fantasy VII that I like a lot. Like when you get to the building where all the people have been murdered by someone with a gun for an arm. You're like, where's Barrett? Where's Barrett? And it ended up being Dyne. And Barrett's daughter is Dyne's daughter, and Dyne died, and he never hesitated to treat her like she was his family, because that's how close he was to Dyne. Like I really like that. What's Barrett's daughter's name again? I can't think of it.
Marlene.
Marlene does get like a lot of hostage situations. But yeah, I really like that story. I like that they gave Barrett a lot, just like they did with every character. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Tifa's story was Cloud's story, like their interconnected background, and Sephiroth killing Tifa's father and all that, and their whole hometown. Obviously Aerith's story and everything that culminated. So you got to Aerith's death, and you were like, man, they really earned this. What did you expect going into it versus like what it actually ended up being?
I don't know what I expected, honestly. Like, cause like I said, like cause it's a thing that everyone knows, and it's like a thing where it's like they know it so much that it's kind of like a meme in a way. Like I think it was like I think it was like the last time we did like a live stream or something like that. But it was you and me in the same room, and like we were talking about something about death, like a character dying or something like that. I was like, oh, just like Aerith. And I remember you just giving me this look, and I just laughed about it.
It was when we were talking about Valkyria Chronicles during our extra live stream.
Yeah, I guess. But like, you just gave me this look. It's like, come on, man. It's like, because like it's like I said, it's been that long, and it's like, like it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, it's 10 years after 9/11, so I guess it's good to make a joke about it, type of thing, or whatever. But like, but actually going through the trenches of it, and like seeing like who this character was. So this person who's been with you from the beginning, and like you growing attached to them, the way they talk, the way they act. And like you get, and like it's like, oh, like you're like a permanent part of this party, and like not literally, but like figuratively, like and like you're a friend, you're someone I care about deeply, and then like that getting taken away from you, like literally, and it's just like, and like they're just not in that game anymore, and it's like, oh well, fuck, and it's just like, damn, that was earned. I felt like just something just being taken away from you just so abruptly, and that's very much of a life situation where it's just like you just don't know when it will happen, and like like I said, other than like that scene in Valkyria Chronicles, like I never really had that scene before in a game other than like that. So like yeah,
and like it's coming too is like the saddest thing, like when Aerith leaves the party after the temple.
Yeah,
and like Cloud has the dream where she's like, I'm going to do this.
What's funny too, because like I knew she left, but like it didn't register with me. Like I didn't even think about like, oh yeah, she's going to die like in the next scene or two. Like
yeah, that's important. I'm glad that you felt that.
Yeah, like I was just so into the scene. And it's like, oh man, Aerith's gone. I need to go help her or save her or do this thing. And like that was my main priority. That was my main thought. So I didn't really think about that. And then like it happened, and it's like, fuck, that's right, this happens, type of thing.
Yeah, it's really like, because I remember when it first happened when I was a kid, and I didn't know it was coming because I was watching my brother play it, and it like destroyed me. Like I was so not ready for it. But moreover, this scene where Cloud says goodbye and like lays her to rest in the City of Ancients is like so surreal and beautiful and like artistically the way it's shot and everything.
Oh yeah,
is like just really touching. Yeah, it's great. I think they handle it. I don't know if they could have done it better.
Exactly.
And it's like the Cloud, the reason we get to Cloud being comfortable and back to smiling and happy at the end is because like Aerith started to kind of break down that guard and have him let down that guard and open up, and it's like the presence of that character is felt in that party no matter what, like from front to back, even when she's not there. It's really good.
But like I did feel like after they left the City of the Ancients, I mean, not even counting like the snowboarding part or whatever, but like it did kind of seem like I wanted a little bit more mourning, I guess you would say. Like
there's no time to mourn really.
Yeah, it's just like on
and
to
then
the
you're
next
fucking
thing.
snowboarding.
Yeah, like like there's so many things about that game where it's like it's like a timing thing, dude. Like if I played this 15 years ago and actually got over my prejudices against Final Fantasy VII and like enjoyed it for what it was, it probably would be like my favorite game ever. Cause I love shit like when Tifa's strapped to a chair and you have to like press the button combinations to like actually like get the key to unlock her. Like I love that shit, but like it's done so badly now in comparison. Like, cause like at the time I would have loved it because I love stuff like that. But like, like for 2018 me playing this game, like it feels bad. But like if I played it when I would have actually enjoyed it, I would just fall in love with it.
It's one of those. I think like that's a big part of why people were clamoring for them to remake it. Mm-hmm. Like I think thematically it's so strong and it holds up, and that story is so unique, and it's still like very unique to this day. And that's why people like want to have it kind of brought up and brought to, like, especially a big part of it is a lot of those like artistic decisions where it's like I don't know necessarily what's happening in the scene. I think it's a little bit interpretive, and I'd like to maybe keep the lines a little less blurred, and kind of solidify what's really going on here a bit more. I'm trying to think here, more specific questions. How do you feel about the music? Well, just while I'm thinking about it.
That's so funny you mentioned that too, because like if you were to ask me about like maybe like this 2, probably like the second half of this 2 or something like that, I would say like, there's like only like maybe 3 memorable songs in this game. Because it just seems that way. Because like you have the battle music, you have the stressed out music, and you have the boss fight music, and like those are the only music that really stuck in my head, really, at the time at least. And by the end, like when you get the high wing music, and like obviously like the last like 30 minutes of the game, where like all those tracks are like amazing as well. Well, Sephiroth, obviously, and like even the
One Winged Angel, you heard it in its original context. Finally,
yeah.
Genova's music is so fucking good.
Yeah.
But yeah, if the reason I was thinking of it was the City of Ancients music. Like when you were talking about it, I could hear it clearly in my head. Like it sticks out to me so much. Yeah, I think the soundtrack to this game is fucking incredible.
Yeah, it got there for me. It just took a while, but it got there.
Yeah. That boss music is legendary. So, another
shout out to music.
Yeah.
I don't really know what it is, but like it's the music that played when you went on the date, or like the music where pretty much like any scene with like Tifa and Cloud together, like that music in general, in particular
is
that Tifa's theme?
I believe that's Tifa's theme.
But like that theme is like really, I really love that theme a lot.
Yeah. All the characters have like really good themes. Like Red 13's theme, Cosmo Canyon's music is really good, and it's like got such a unique sound. Yuffie's theme you didn't really get to hear is really good as well. The Turks theme, the
Turks are
the Turks are fucking cool, right?
Yeah, they're pretty much like Team Rocket for that game, and it's so
yeah,
good
they totally are.
That.
Yeah. Oh man, Reno. So Reno is played by the same guy who plays Axel in.
I figured as much.
Yeah, it's just like, man, 1-to-1, huh?
Mm.
What's the sunglass guy's name?
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Elena, and like Sang, who is Kate Sith. Like, I don't know how big that was. Not Sang. It might not be Sang. I'm thinking
No, it wasn't Sang. like what?
Sang is. They're always in scenes together. That's why I get confused.
I think Sang like disappeared after like Sephiroth hurt him, or at least that's what I think what happened.
Yeah, he like just pretty much like, I think he dies at some point. But
does he die? Really?
I don't know. Sang's the one I can't pin down in my head. But yeah, all the Turks are cool, I think. And they're very much like
the bald one is Rude.
Rude, yes. All those fights are fun too. I feel like they're all like really fun, interesting fights. But yeah, like all of like the Shinra employee characters, like how they kind of come in and out of that story, I think are really cool, and they're kind of there along the ride at the end with you too. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out what happened to Sang, but yeah, the Turks are great. Do you have a favorite Turk?
Not particularly.
Okay.
I just like them in general, like as a group. That I just really enjoy them. Zhang's in Advent Children, so he's
yeah, he does not die. I see that now. Yeah, I like Reno a lot, obviously, but Elena is great. Anytime like Elena
has this weird crush for Zhang and stuff like that.
Yeah. Anytime Elena's like trying to be cool and then she says too much and they're just like, fuck. it's great.
Yeah, they function great as a group. That's what I really like though.
Yeah. How did you feel about Kate Sith? Or Kate Sheath, as it is sometimes pronounced.
I thought it was fine. Like, I didn't really have like a good connection with him. Like, he does some cool stuff later on in the game, but like, he kind of just joins your party because you just kind of see him. But like, I guess because what's weird about him is just like, it's just like I didn't really know what it was until like later on. It's like, oh, it's a cat riding on this thing. And it's like, okay, so I guess that's what it is. Like aesthetically, that's cool, but like it's just like I didn't really get a grasp of what the character was.
Yeah,
so like that was like
I always thought it was the big. I thought it was the big Mog.
Yeah,
when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Kate Sith, controlled by Reeve, who is the head of some part of Shinra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was really cool. I thought, obviously, like, it sucks because Kate Sith kidnaps Aerith and in a couple of places and just is shitty. And
you mean Marlene?
But Marlene, yeah, Marlene.
Okay,
Yeah,
I got confused for a second.
I was confused. But the way like Reeve kind of becomes the good guy in the Shinra group and is working alongside you guys. I like the political dynamic of that. I think, it's Kate Sith is a cool character. There's no, I don't think there's a bad character in this game though. I'm sad that you didn't get to have Yuffie in your party, but
I mean, I had Yuffie in my party.
Oh, you did? You did get Yuffie?
Yeah, I'd say I didn't go to her village.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So like she has her own side quest that actually involves the Turks.
Okay. They
so
were
basically-
I think they were eating ramen or something like that. And
Yeah,
like,
they're on vacation.
Yeah.
And then eventually they get called out of vacation. And then they get kidnapped by Mr. Creepo himself, the Don. And you team up with the Turks and take him down. It's fucking super good.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, basically Yuffie steals all your materia and then you have to go hunt her down multiple times.
The UP thing was really great though. Getting her to join your party.
Thief.
I fucked up like so many times. I fucked up for like an hour straight until like I actually
It's
got her into my
hard.
party.
Yeah, like I always have to. I just go and look up a guide to the questions at this point. If you use the save point, she steals your material.
That was the first thing I did too. I was like, oh, there's a save point there. I guess I'll just save real fast before anything happens and like everything is gone.
It's a trap. It's a trap. She got you. So Vincent's story, since I guess you didn't really see it. So basically, there is another one of many craters on the map. there's a crater with a waterfall in it that you can only get to it via the submarine.
Okay.
Shout out to the submarine also. All the different vehicles you get in this game. But if you go up into that crater, you'll find a cavern with a crystal in it, and Vincent will react to that crystal. It turns out, let me see if I can find her name, but he sees, and then you kind of learn her story. So Vincent was a Turk. I don't know if you saw any of that.
Didn't know that at all.
Yeah, so Vincent was a Turk, and he was a bodyguard to this woman, Lucretia Crescent, who is a scientist working on the Genova project. So Lucretia was partners with Professor Hojo, and Vincent eventually fell in love with her. But she found out biologically she was basically a good carrier for Genova cells. And so Hojo got her pregnant, and they injected the child with Genova cells while still in the womb.
So that was Sephiroth?
Is Sephiroth.
Okay.
And Vincent was going to stop this from happening, and to stop him, Hojo had him killed. He wasn't really killed. He was basically experimented on until he became what he became, which is like, he doesn't have Genova cells in him. I don't exactly know how he ended up the way he did, but his transformations and his like abnormal powers and vampire-likeness is all because of that.
Okay.
So you learn that as little side bits throughout the game. Because Vincent's optional character, that's why all that stuff is also optional. Just like Yuffie's little village side quest is optional.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, that is Vincent's story. He's a very cool character. That's why he got his own game, because he had so much background to pull from. But yeah, I like Vincent a lot. I'm sorry that you didn't get all of it. It's not super well integrated into the main story. But I think he's cool. He was a Turk. Gotta love the Turks. How did you get everybody's limit breaks? I assume not.
No, I had no time for that. I still didn't really even understand how to like get new ones. Like I got like, you know, like Braver and Cross Slash, but like I never got like up to like Omni Slash or anything like that. I didn't understand like how, because I did them over and over again, and like I guess that's not the way you get new limits breaks. So
yeah, because I only briefly explained on the show. You get the second in a level's limit breaks by using it like a certain number of times, and then you get the next level limit break by killing a certain number of enemies. That character has to kill
with the limit break,
not with the limit break, just in general.
Okay.
So like I would typically go to like kind of like where you find Yuffie. There's like a group of these 5 like little root enemies. I would just use like Fire 3 all or whatever, and kill them. And then so once you get your level 3 maxed out, then you have to use an item to get the 4th and ultimate limit break, which are all absurd. I would take some time to look up a video of like all level 4 limit breaks. Just because they're everyone's like super moves pretty much.
Right.
For example, Omni Slash. You still get to see Omni Slash in the end again, which is great.
Right.
But like Barrett's like satellite attack where he fucking like targets a satellite laser and blasts people, and Tifa's Final Heaven, and Sid's High Wind where he calls on the High Wind for an airstrike. It's all good stuff. But yeah, you have to use a special item. A lot of those items are missable. Barrett's, I think Catastrophe is the name of his thing. If you don't save his town, the mining town, from the train, then you can't get Catastrophe. They give it to you if you save it.
I saved it. Like, man, that was a scene too, trying to like figure out how to do that right. But like I did it my first try. Like the alternating controls, yeah. There's a lot of stuff like that.
Did you get all the giant materia?
I got like
all the seams.
I got like 4 or 5 of them.
I believe there are 4. So there's one for each color materia.
Yeah, like I got all of them. I'm like, and the only
Except
thing
for blue. There's no blue one.
I thought there was a blue one.
There might be. I don't think there is, but there might be.
Like the only thing I got from that was the fusion of Bahamut and
Neo
like,
Bahamut, right?
Yeah, it was like Zero and regular Bahamut, Neo Bahamut.
Yeah. That's all you get from it regularly. So this is the part that's kind of shitty. So it's cool but shitty. So if you get one of every green materia to max level and then go to the big materia, the green materia, you get the green all materia. Basically, it is one materia with all magic on it. And there's an equivalent for each one. So you can get the summon all materia and like the command all materia and the whatever the purple one is called. But you have to max out the level of all materia. How did you feel about the materia system by the end of it?
Like it was okay, I guess. I didn't really get into it. Like I didn't even like really figure out all until like pretty much like the end of the second disc. So like but I eventually figured it out and like yeah, it was fine. Like like I basically just stuck to what I'm used to, kind of like my personal tactics. Like, I like you, I'll stick to this you. Like I just had like lightning with Cloud and like him have cover and counterattack, and that generally worked because counterattack would get him used to like cover and counterattack will get him like his limit up really fast. So like I could always use cross fast a lot. So
there is there's like a sunken submarine. It's one of the
I stepped
levels.
in it for like a half a second. And
Very
like,
difficult.
Yeah, I fought something really hard. I beat it, and then I just like bounced right after that.
Basically, you fight the Turks there, and so there's an extra Turks fight, and the Hades summon you get there. But there's like some rare materia that you can only get there. One of them is 2x slash, so it changes your basic attack to a double attack. So you go up and hit, so you do 2 attacks back to back. If you level that up, it becomes 4x slash. So every regular attack is 4 attacks. It's very good. It's fucking broken, but it's very good. So if you like pair that with counterattack, you can do like 4 counterattacks. It's basically because like so when I played through on PS4, I leveled up to 100. Like I grinded out to 100 and did everything, and at the end of it, I was just fucking destroying everyone. And it feels good. Like they definitely do the arc where they make you feel real good, and like if you want to beat Emerald and Ruby weapon, you have to do that stuff because you will not stay. They're way hard even with stuff like that.
Right.
How did you feel about the weapons, man? Some of the coolest cutscenes we'd ever seen in 1997.
With the weapons?
Yeah, like the weapon attacking Juno, Sapphire weapon.
You mean weapon?
Weapon.
Yeah, okay. Not an actual weapon. That's all. I thought you talked the literal thing.
No, the weapons as in the big monsters.
Yes, weapon. Yes, weapon looked awesome. Weapon was.
Do you have a favorite?
Like the one that attacked Juno, like the first cutscene one. That was the one I was like, oh yeah, that one is fucking awesome. I said that out loud. I said that one looked really cool.
That's Sapphire weapon.
Yeah. And the weapon that was slowly going to Midgar, that was a pretty cool one. By the way, that
weapon. Yeah.
By the way, that wasn't the game. So Final Fantasy wasn't the game I was thinking about, where there's a giant monster slowly approaching something.
Okay.
It was some other game. I don't know what it was, and I'll probably never know. But like, it was like it's like a big giant monster, and like you could see him coming slowly into the distance. But like, I think you could attack him from a distance as well. I don't know. It was some video game.
Ultimate Weapon. Also, you have to fight that one. Ultimate Weapon is cool. So, did you ever hunt down Ultimate Weapon and beat it?
No. I have no idea what that was.
I
got Ultima, the spell, but that's it.
Yeah. So Ultimate Weapon is the one that attacks the fishing village that Cloud is in. And and blast Tifa and Cloud into the life stream.
Oh, that's okay. Okay.
So after that, you have to fight it there briefly, but it runs away.
Yeah.
After that, you can chase it across the world map in the Highwind and fight it multiple times. And eventually you can fight it a final time and beat it. And it gives you Cloud's ultimate weapon called Ultima Weapon. So each character has an ultimate weapon as well. Basically, their final weapon, their most powerful weapon.
Mm-hmm. I wish I had known that. I didn't know that at all. I thought he just disappeared after that or something. Or you know what? Because like I always thought weapon was always the same thing. Honestly, I never thought like it was like different weapons. So like I don't know. I thought they were all the same thing. Like I thought when he shot him, like when he got when Weapon got shot in Gino, I thought like he just disappeared and like he just disappeared again.
Oh yeah,
like,
so yeah, they're all different weapons.
Yeah,
so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there are 5, I think. So there's Ruby Weapon, Emerald Weapon. Emerald Weapon's like the big hulking green monster gliding around in the ocean floor.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby Weapon, it's an optional boss. Ruby Weapon is the you can see it sticking out of the sand, the desert near the golden saucer. You can see its fingers sticking out. It's you see it in the cutscene where the weapons go out. So like that cutscene where the crater explodes and all the weapons spread, like all those monsters spread out. Those are all the weapons.
Oh.
And like when you're in the crater with Sephiroth, like the big eye that you see is Sapphire Weapon. So that's why I call them the weapons instead of weapon. They do like casually refer to it as weapon singular, but they're just kind of. I feel like they're talking more about the concept of them.
Yeah, that's why I always thought it was just one thing. I didn't know it was multiple things.
Yeah, so Diamond Weapon, Sapphire Weapon, a Ruby Weapon, Emerald Weapon, and Ultimate Weapon are all different monsters.
Okay.
And the plot of Final Fantasy Dirge of Cerberus is based around Omega Weapon. So there you go.
All right.
But yeah, they're all cool, different monsters. So like when Juno's cannon goes off and blasts Diamond Weapon and blows its head off, like that one dies.
What is Dirge of Cerberus, by the way?
So Dirge of Cerberus takes place, I think 6 months after Final Fantasy VII. It's like a third-person action game, third-person shooter action game. It's kind of like trying to be a little Devil May Cry.
Isn't it just Vincent and Yuffie in that game?
So no, everybody is in that game briefly. Mostly in the first and last cutscene. Cloud does smile in that game. It's worth noting. But yeah, you play from Vincent's perspective, and you kind of basically learn more about his story. Just like Crisis Core is like Zack's story. But yeah, everybody makes a brief cameo in there. I think Cloud is in it the most. Because
really?
he calls you a couple of times and has like voicemails and whatnot that you talk to. But for the most part, it's Vincent by himself.
Okay.
By saying Cloud is in it the most, it's very minimal. It does not play well. You can go watch videos of it. It's rough. It's a lot about that red-coated guy from Crisis Core. Forget his name.
Genesis?
Genesis, yes. I believe Genesis is he's either the villain of that or he is like teased at the end of it to set up Crisis Core. One of the two. But yeah, I was just curious. Like the weapons are like a theme in Final Fantasy. It's one of the things that like kind of recurs from every Final Fantasy game.
What was it in 15?
It's not in 15, which is weird.
Oh, okay.
I think that like they're in some of the 2D ones. They're in 8. They're in 9. But like they were big. It was like their kind of first big blowout for them in 7, which is why I like them a lot. Yeah. So I'm curious now that we're kind of at the close of it. Do you have any other questions about Final Fantasy VII?
I can't really think of any right now. Yeah, I not on the top of my head, no. But like, yeah, that was an experience. I really enjoyed it.
Are you glad that you played it?
Yeah, I am. Because like it was always just a thing where it's like, I felt like it felt like something I should know. It seemed like something I would like. it was just like bad timing and like a bad experience that like really just like took it away from me. Cause like I had the game on PlayStation 1, like cause like my whole history with it is like I've written it at first and like thought I was lied to, and then like I eventually had like the PlayStation 1 version of it just in my house for like forever. Tried it multiple times, just couldn't get past like the beginning and the heart of that. And then like like when it came on PS3 for digitally, of course I bought that, and then like I tried it just to get through it, and then like when it came on PS4 I bought it again. So like I've always tried to give it a chance. It's just like it just never really just grabbed me any other time. So yeah, like I said, I don't like the means of like how I went through it, but like I feel like if I didn't do it this way, in a way, I probably would never really have played that game ever. So,
do you think it's something that you might revisit in a year or so or two, and just kind of take your time and play through again?
Yeah, like when I'm like right now, I'm like super behind on like everything, and like probably like the biggest thing about like me playing Final Fantasy VII, which is weird because like it's kind of like how like it's kind of how like when I was like in a real dark place before, and like I replayed through Persona 4 Golden, and like that really got me through a really depressive part of my life. Like it kind of did that again with Final Fantasy VII, because like my work was incredibly stressful, and like I worked for like 2 weeks straight without having a day off. Like even when I had days off, like I called in type of thing. And like that's why I didn't really have time for Final Fantasy VII that much. But like I still like put like maybe like an hour of it like every day, and like yeah, and like it'll always have a connection with me because of that. Like it really helped me like get through a hard time playing Final Fantasy VII. So like I guess that game has something that got that going for it for me. So like yeah, I appreciate the game a lot now.
Cool. I'm really glad that you played it. I'm so happy because it is one of those things where it's like, I really thought that you would really connect with this game in basically the ways that you have, because it's like that Cloud Tifa scene like is something I knew would resonate with you. Like Cloud's story as a whole, because of the way that we are similar and like similar things in a lot of cases, and that shit like really resonated with me. It was just something I kind of want to share with you,
right?
So that's why I'm really glad to hear. But it's also one of those things where it's like it's not something I can push on you. I'm not trying to like persona you or whatnot. Like I'm glad that in an inadvertent way I did force it on you. But like regardless, I'm glad you kind of took it upon yourself to play through it, and you beat it, and you did enjoy it. A couple of last things. Do you have a favorite moment from Final Fantasy VII?
Favorite moment? Like the thing that immediately comes into my head is like literally when Cloud comes back, and like they're on the High Wing, and like he pretty much gives out his like he just like lets everything out. It's like, hey man, like I'm pretty much a lie, and like I'm
pretty fucked up, y'all.
Yeah, and then like he says something to Barrett, and like Barrett like because like Barrett always said a certain thing, and like they all said at the same time at that I can't remember exactly what it says, but you know what scene I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And like they all said at the same time, like Tifa hit him, and like Barrett all said at the same time, and they all laughed. And like I don't know, that scene really stuck out to me. It was like because like I said, I didn't think like a scene like that was anywhere in that game whatsoever. But like it was like multiple times with that, and like that one really personified it. Like it was that scene right there.
That's awesome. Outside of the main 9 characters, do you have like a favorite character?
Outside of them, or
so not including your party members. Do you have a
not
favorite
including.
character?
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I really like the Turks. The Turks were really good.
How? This might be a little bit longer one, but how did you feel about Sephiroth ultimately? Did you like him as a villain? Did you dislike him?
Did you? The way people have always liked Sephiroth, and like I thought he'd be a bigger thing in this game, and like he really wasn't. not in, like in the way I thought he was. Like I thought he was like an ominous force. Like all the time that he showed up in his like ghost form, like I thought he was like I thought he was someone you fought multiple times. And like the only time you really see Sephiroth is like the one time he's in your party, and then like at the very end, and like that's it. So it's like, man, because people hyped him up so much, and people love Sephiroth, and like people have Sephiroth in their usernames everywhere, and like so like I thought he would be more of a thing, but he really wasn't. And that's not necessarily disappointing, but that's like kind of the shocking. Like that's another thing. It's like, oh, I thought I knew somewhat about this game a little bit, and like no, I don't know anything about this game at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing of like I really like that, but again, like I didn't have kind of a different impression. Like I know what Sephiroth was, like his presence is felt always in this game. Like when you first see the Midgar Zolom like speared on the tree, it's like, oh fuck, Sephiroth did this. It's like it's such a cool moment. Like, and he is controlling everything at all times, right? He's the boogeyman in a lot of ways, which is why for me Sephiroth is so scary. He's such a good villain. He's not a physical presence in that game, but he is certainly an emotional one, especially in Cloud's life. Because he killed Cloud's mom, presumably, killed Tifa's father, burned down their village, killed dozens of people, thousands presumably, outside of that. Not to mention like all the stuff that he did in the war that precedes the game. Like he's both a legend and like a horror. And I really like Sephiroth. Cool. Do you like Final Fantasy VII?
I like Final Fantasy VII.
Would you recommend somebody play that game?
Sure. It is something that's like not even like if I was playing this back in 1995, like I could appreciate something from back then. Like I think it's still an amazing game now.
I agree.
In today's standards. Like I said, the mini games are kind of like whatever, but like for like
that submarine one, right?
Yeah, like there's mini games for literally everything. It's like it's almost a little bit too much in that game because they're all different. And they do like a little brief tutorial and like just figure it out and just do it. Like okay. But like I can't overstate enough like how how 90s anime that game is. Like the whole fucking like cold scene with Cloud and Sid, and it's like just doing that, and Sid just like telling you like, oh, I think there's a triangle in this code, and it's like, no, there isn't a fucking triangle in that damn code, and like you're trying to figure it out. But yeah, it was. I just love that stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
I'm
so glad you played it.
Yeah, makes me love Crisis Core like more too. But,
yeah, it like that's the thing. It doesn't take away from the love of that game. I think it enriches it.
Yeah. I still haven't played it in forever though, so I don't know how it plays for me. I did like the materia system in that game though, but which is pretty much just the same thing. But like, yeah, I'll eventually just do that willy nilly. But like, I'm just too backlogged on so many stuff now that like, there's no way I could just play that right now.
Yeah, it's a game worth playing in my opinion. I'm glad you took the time to do it. And thanks for sitting down and talking with me for an hour and a half about it. I really like this game, so it's good to talk to somebody about it.
I know, an hour and a half.
it's just the Alex O'Neill effect. Thank you everyone for watching and listening. I don't know how I'm going to put this out, but I hope you enjoyed this. It was very much fun for me. Nabeshin was like texting me pretty much the whole time over the last 2 weeks as he was playing it at certain moments, just giving me thoughts. Man, also, fuck Hojo, am I right?
Yeah.
Hojo's the worst. There are a lot of villains in that game. Hojo's the worst.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just so anxious to finally just talk about it. And just get it all out there. So, thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.